Hello, I'm Heather from blendhappy.com. Today I'm talking about the Vitamix Professional Series 750 specifications and how to use it. So some pro tips coming your way. First things first, I'm going to read it straight from the manual so you know, and then I'm going to show you up close. So I love this Vitamix blender. If you've seen my review video, you'll hear me talk about everything I love, all the perks about it. And I didn't get to talk about the specifications because that was my review video. That's why I'm making a separate video for specifications. So if you're wondering about the motor, it has 2.2 peak output horsepower motor. It's very quiet too, so let's just give you an example. If you're gonna blend. See, listen, with my microphone here. Still pretty quiet, you can still hear me. That's if you need to pulse it on high for a little bit, but it wouldn't keep it there. But even just the smoothie button, the very first setting, I can still talk over it. It's gonna build its way up. It's gonna get a little bit loud, not too bad. So that's not bad. You can still hear me. So it has a 4-prong blade that is very sharp. That's one of the specifications. It also has measurements on the blender. So it goes up to 8 cups. This is the maximum fill capacity, or 64 ounces, or if you go by liters and milliliters, 2,000 milliliters and 2 liters. So that's a lot of stuff you can fit in there. On top of that, electrical, it's 120 volts, 50, 60 hertz. And then it says it uses a USA 3-prong ground cord. That's this. See, so you do need, get myself tangled here, the 3-prong outlet. I wouldn't buy this and then go use it in another country. Canada does have their own, so you can buy from like the Canadian products. So use this in the US, and this is US made. So Ohio, and Ohio's where you're gonna send it under your warranty if anything happens to it. Even the reconditioned blenders are phenomenal. So those have warranties as well. And on top of that, the dimensions of it, the height is 17.4 inches, width 7.7 inches, and depth 9.4 inches. So those are just some of the specifications, and I'm going to show you up close. Of course, these are the specs for this Professional Series 750, and you can see more specifications on each blender at Vitamix.com. I'll put a link in the description below. Again, I'm an affiliate for Vitamix, and that's because I fell in love with it 7 years ago. I first owned a 5200 series, and now I'm on this Professional 750 series. And I want to say all the blenders are phenomenal, but I really love this one because it's stubby little design. It's so cute, it can fit under a counter. And because of everything that it can do in the preset settings, just see my review, you'll see how much I'm in love with it. So it does come with a warranty. I told you about that already. I'll repeat myself here with preggy brain. That's right, a little bun in the oven here. So another specification is the variable speed dial. So you can come over here and use the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to 10. So you can just, depending on what level speed you want. And then there's the preset settings for smoothie, frozen goods, soups, batters, and a self-cleaning mode. So that comes in handy, very much so. Another specification here is the cooling mode back here on the motor base, so it won't overheat. And each one comes with a serial number too, so you're going to register that at Vitamix. That way you're covered. So you want them, they want to know which blender you have, what the series number is, and what the number. I can't even think right now. So you'll want the registration number. And then under here we have a base cord storage. So you can store your cord under here if you want to have less of a cord hanging out on your counter. That's what I love. Like, you don't have to have the whole cord out. So you can just come over here and tuck it in to where you need it. And it just has these awesome little ridges to where you can just tuck it right under and keep as much slack or as little slack as you want, pop it into place, and there you go. So you don't have a crazy cord hanging everywhere. So I actually need it back out, but I just wanted to show you that. Very easy to use. So the next thing I'm going to show you is, here we go, how to properly use this Vitamix. Some pro tips. Right after you're done using it, pro tip number 1, you want to clean it immediately by filling it with warm soapy water about halfway, like a third of the way even. You don't want to go too high. Do not go to the max level, okay? Because you don't want it to go too crazy or pop the lid off if the water is hot. You can go to the max level if it's cool temperature water, but there's really no need to. You don't need to waste that much water. Halfway does plenty well. So after you use your blender, clean it immediately to keep from things getting stuck and from keeping it from getting grimy. And it just makes cleanup so much easier, because all you do is pour the warm soapy water in, turn it to clean mode, turn on the clean mode, and then it starts off slow. It gets right underneath the blades and in the corners, works its way up, and it's going to clean the top of the blender here. Awesome. Last part you need to do is just rinse it under some water to rinse it clean, and you are good to go. You've just cleaned that blender in about less than a minute. So that's one pro tip. Second pro tip is how to use it. And there's actually an operating instructions here. So if you have liquids, you want to pour your liquids in first. Then you want to put your dry goods in, your leafy greens, fruits and vegetables, and any frozen ingredients on the top. That way you have the liquid at the bottom. Have you ever built a smoothie and you put in the banana, the frozen goods, and then you put in the liquid and it kind of got awkward, and then it kind of gets stuck, and then here, and then you have to add even more liquid, and then when you're done, you're like, it's too liquidy. I wanted it a little more frothy, because you didn't add it in the proper order, okay? So liquids, dry goods, leafy greens, fruits and veggies, and then top it off with your ice or frozen ingredients. I'll show you the little picture. Now, third pro tip is how to prevent overload protection. So only process Vitamix recipes when learning to use the machine. Do not process recipes at lower speeds than recommended. Do not process them at higher speeds than recommended. Do not process them longer than recommended for longer times, and use your tamper to process thicker mixtures and keep the ingredients moving. So I'll show you the tamper. You'll want to use this to kind of keep the ingredients moving around. So if they're up to here, you're just going to do, and just kind of keep them down. So keep them from going up. And you don't want to keep this in there the whole time. Don't blend with it like that. Just don't do it. You know, sometimes the friction of that can pop up and create little scratches. I mean, they've done a great job of shortening the tamper, but really it's not meant to stay in there in place of this little cap. So don't do that. Another pro tip, when you're cleaning it, because the blades are really sharp, if you want to clean it by hand with a sponge, I highly recommend using a long sponge, like something with a sponge on the end and a stick, and cleaning under there, or wearing a purple rubber glove so you don't cut yourself. It can cut your sponge too. It is that sharp. That's how amazing this blade is. So that's why I like to use the preset cleaning mode, so I don't have to worry about trying to dig under there with my fingers and cutting myself. Totally have done it before, not gonna lie, let's just be honest. So lesson learned. I mean, it wasn't a horrible cut, but yeah. And of course you don't want to stick your hand in there while it's on the blender base. That's why I took it off and I'm showing you. Another pro tip is if it overheats, which again, I mean, it's a fantastic blender, but you can overheat it. It happens. If you put too many ingredients in, not enough liquid, and if you're not carefully watching it and moving some of the ingredients around, it can overheat. I mean, it takes a lot for that to happen, but if that does happen to you, I want you to shut it off, unplug it. So we're gonna shut it off, unplug it, and then you are gonna wait a little cool down period. He was a little upset, just need to leave it be for a minute, and he'll cool right down. So it's not ruined forever. You can use it again, you just have to be patient. Last but not least for pro tips, get this machine because it's gonna replace all your other appliances. I mean, this thing can blend, chop, puree, make smoothies, fraps, make powders. So if you're really serious about cooking and you want a professional blender, this is it. Be a pro, use this, don't buy any other appliances. This is all you need in the kitchen. So that's my final pro tip because it does everything. So save your money on all the like 5, 6 other appliances you don't need, ice cream makers, all that, and just get this one Vitamix blender. And I'll put a link in the description below for my affiliate link, and you get free shipping when you use it. And also if it's around a holiday like Labor Day or New Year's or whatever, President's Day, check for sales. There's sales going on, and sometimes there's not, and you can always use my free shipping code. And if you buy the Vitamix blender from me and you email me blend@blendhappy.com, I can send you a free smoothie book. Now this does come with a book. Introduction to High Performance Blending, lots of recipes. There we go. But I appreciate each sale that is made because it helps keep my business going, helps feed my baby, and helps keep making me make these videos. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, comment below here on YouTube, or if you're watching this on my blog, blendhappy.com, just hit me up in an email. I'm happy to answer any questions for you. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for watching.